we are going to read about some magical sea creatures. And they're really not magical, but they seem very amazing. Okay. In order to do this activity, you're going to need a pencil, a highlighter, and it can be any color of highlighter. You need your pictures of sea creatures and your fact sheets. Okay, so we're going to put the fact sheets aside. Oh, I forgot one other important thing you need, your reading finger. So hopefully you have your reading finger ready. This is our table of contents, and it tells us what we're going to be reading about today. So there's an introduction. The second part is on sea turtles. The third part is on manatees. The fourth, seals. Fifth, starfish. Sixth, octopus. 7, clownfish. And 8 is on stingrays. Let's start learning. Introduction. For the longest time, the habits and homes of sea creatures were a mystery because we didn't have the access necessary to study them. Legends of sea monsters and terrifying destinations kept people in a state of fear, which led to senseless killing of animals like sharks. Now, thanks to marine biologists and oceanographers, we have learned that ocean animals are not only brilliant and beautiful, but they are necessary for maintaining the balance of our planet. For example, if people hunt and kill sharks and they become endangered, they're removing one of the key elements of the food chain. Fish that the sharks usually eat will begin to overpopulate the ocean, damage coral reefs, and drain the ocean of smaller ocean creatures. If coral reefs aren't thriving, then many animals lose their habitats, and they too become endangered. It is crucial that we understand ocean animals, their habits, and their homes. So that is exactly what we will strive to do. In this book, we will explore groupings and habitats of several marine animals. And here, the marine animal on the first page is a dolphin. Okay, the first section we're going to read, the first animal is a sea turtle. Sea turtles live by themselves and stay underwater for much of the day. This makes them very difficult to study. When turtles are in open water, they can sleep at the surface of the water. Baby sea turtles, or hatchlings, sleep floating at the very top of the water. Oh, I bet that's very cute. As you can guess, it does make them very vulnerable to predators. This is why the first 12 to 15 hours after they enter the water, they are rapidly swimming out towards sea. The majority of their predators stay close to the shore, so hatchlings try to escape this zone quickly. Sea turtles migrate between breeding grounds and feeding zones. Scientists believe that the leatherback turtle has the longest journey of all the sea turtles. They travel from Asia to the west coast of the United States, an amazing 10,000 miles, in search of jellyfish. Sea turtles rely on moonlight bouncing off the water to help them navigate their way. Scientists also believe they have a special way of detecting Earth's magnetic fields and feel pulled in certain directions. The ocean currents help them find their way too. Wow, there were so many cool things I learned in there. So I want to take my highlighter and I want to highlight just one fact that I thought was really cool. So I think the fact that some of them travel 10,000 miles, holy man. They travel from Asia to the west coast of the United States, an amazing 10,000 miles. So that's my favorite fact for sea turtles. And you can pause this and you can find your favorite fact too, or you can choose the same one I did. Okay, we are moving on to manatees. Manatees. And again, we're going to look for a fact that we think is really cool. As is the case with many animals, humans are the largest threat to manatees. Manatees hang out in shallow waters near the coast, where they spend over half the day eating vegetation. Being so close to land and the fact that they move very slowly puts them in danger from boat propellers. Manatees live alone unless a female is nursing her young. The baby manatees will live off their mother's milk for a year and a half. The mothers and calves have also been observed playing a lot, just like humans. Oh, that's so cute. Even though they are large and cuddly looking, manatees have a very low body fat percentage. This means they need warm waters for their body to function properly. In 2010, almost 250 manatees died in Florida because there was a colder than normal winter. Manatees are mammals, which means they go to the surface of the water to breathe every few minutes. Christopher Columbus had journal entries that claimed to see mermaids swimming in the water. Based on everything we know, it's most likely that the crew saw manatees. That's an interesting fact. I like that. Okay, now we have to decide what our favorite thing was. I like the fact that they were playing together. I think that's so funny. So I'm going to highlight the mothers and calves have also been observed playing a lot, just like humans. I think if I saw two manatees playing, that would be just the cutest thing ever. Okay, remember, if you need more time, it's always okay to pause and then to start up with us again. Now we're going to read about seals. Seals live in very large groups, so it may appear that their social structure is chaotic, but they get along with each other quite well. Males are typically the leaders and more aggressive than the females. Seals have been observed forming small groups within their large groups, somewhat like human friend groups. Seals will socialize and relax with their friends. Living in groups is one of the seal's way of protecting itself from predators. When they are in the water, they are also fast and hard to catch. They also have several inches of blubber on their bodies that makes them hard for predators to take them as a meal. Seals are born with their eyes open and the ability to swim well. Mother seals will nurse their pups for 4 to 6 weeks. They recognize their pups by smell and have a special call that is meant just for their pup. It is very important that the mother bonds with her pup because if she doesn't, she will refuse to nurse the pup and he or she will starve. After the nursing period, the female will not interact with her pup anymore. At this point, the young seal is on its own and it can catch shrimp and eventually fish. Wow, that's kind of cool. Mom has a little special way to call her seal baby. Look at this little seal. That looks like a seal baby right there. Now we have to find what is the coolest fact that we read. Whoops, go this way. The coolest fact that we read. I think seals will socialize. I think that's interesting and relax with their friends. Plus, I like to picture a bunch of seals hanging out and relaxing with their friends. I think that's a funny thing I picture in my head. The next is starfish. Don't be fooled by the name. The starfish isn't a fish at all. What? It's an invertebrate, which means it does not have a backbone. All fish have backbones. The starfish is related to sponges and urchins. Most starfish have 5 arms that are covered in suckers. The suckers help them to slowly creep on the ocean floor. Starfish live alone, do not take mates or care for their young in any way. It takes a starfish about 2 years to develop into its adult form. The starfish has a fascinating way of eating. After it's found a prey, so clams, oysters, and snails are its favorite, its stomach will come out of the starfish's mouth and begin to digest the food. Small food will be swallowed whole. Starfish have a tough outer layer that will make them hard to eat. They also have camouflage. They also camouflage themselves against coral or the ocean floor. When a starfish arms are cut off, their body can regrow them. Wow, those are some amazing facts about starfish. I definitely think the fact that I like the best here is that its stomach will come out of its mouth to eat food. That is very different. Most animals do not do that. But you find which fact you think is the coolest and you highlight it. Now we're going to read about octopus, just like from our story. I see an octopus here and it doesn't have a floppy hat and it doesn't have a tiara. Okay. The octopus is a solitary creature that uses rocky caves as its home. Female octopuses take care of their eggs very carefully, making sure to blow water over the eggs in order to make sure they get enough oxygen. After hatching, the tiny specks are all on their own. Scientists believe that octopuses only have 1% chance of becoming adults. The octopus can be seen creeping along the ocean floor or moving backwards through the water. When an octopus feels threatened, it will release a cloud of ink to confuse a predator. They are also preyed upon by sharks, whales, and large fish. The octopus also protects itself by changing its color to match its surroundings. Cool, and there's a picture of the octopus there. So now you have to go back and think, what is the coolest thing you just learned about an octopus? Well, I think changing your color to match your surroundings is pretty cool. So I'm going to outline or highlight this very last sentence. Super cool. Super. Next, clownfish. And there it is, right there. All right, let's read and think of the coolest fact about clownfish. Clownfish live in the Indian and Pacific Oceans. They have a close relationship with sea anemone that is quite fascinating. Although the anemone looks like a plant, it's actually a carnivorous animal. Clownfish do not have any way of protecting themselves, so they use the anemone as a shelter. This is a great choice because the anemone stings most other animals with its tentacles. The clownfish has a layer of mucus around it that keep it from getting stung. The anemone benefits from the clownfish by eating its extra scraps and receiving a good cleaning. Female clownfish will lay anywhere from 20 to 25,000 eggs at one time. After fertilizing eggs, the males will guard the eggs until they hatch. Clownfish had a huge popularity spike at the pet stores after the release of the movie Finding Nemo. The sad part about this is that their numbers in certain natural habitats decreased by 75% because of how they were captured. If you are planning on having a clownfish for a pet, make sure that you are able to be a responsible pet owner. Well, definitely, I would say that any pet you're going to get, make sure you know how to care for that pet and take care of that pet. Okay, so we got to think of what of these facts we like the best. I think, let's see, I'm going to do the part where they have a close relationship with sea anemone. I think that's pretty cool. And did you know that anemone sea anemone are not a plant, they're an actual animal. So I guess we could say clownfish and sea anemone are best friends. Okay, last one, stingrays. Like its relative, the shark, stingrays do not have bones, but instead they have cartilage. To get a better understanding of cartilage, put your finger on the tip of your nose and press. Notice the difference between how your nose feels and the bones in your fingers. Stingrays have flat bodies that allow them to easily bury themselves under sand for protection. Their mouths are on the bottom of the side of their bodies. No, their mouths are on the bottom side of their bodies. So their mouth is kind of on their tummy part, which means they cannot see their food. Instead of using sight, stingrays rely on smell and electroception to find food such as crabs, clams, oysters, and small fish. Stingrays are oviparous, which means the female has eggs, but they hatch inside her body, and then she gives birth to live babies. A female stingray will have between 5 and 13 pups at a time. Although pups are great swimmers right away, their mothers will provide some protection for them. Stingrays are considered adults after about 3 years. Our oceans are extremely diverse, beautiful, and complex. It is our job as humans to learn about them and protect them in order for many generations to enjoy their magic. Very cool. Okay, let's see what our, I would say, well, first of all, I think it's amazing that they are called pups. I didn't know that. So I think I'm going to do a female stingray will have between 5 and 13 pups at one time. I think that's kind of amazing. That's a lot of kids to have at one time. Very good. Okay, so now that you have found a really cool fact on each page, you're going to get out your fact sheet and you are going to get out your animal cards. And the first thing you want to do is stop this video and cut out, and if you want to color all your animal cards. And then they will look like this. And we'll cut out all these little cards. And so what we will do is we will write a fact on this sheet, we'll cut it out and glue it on the back of the animal. And then you will have animal kind of fact cards that you can share with your family, and you can read and reread them again, something for you to keep and have, okay? So I'm going to show you how to do the starfish, and then you are free to do the rest of them as you like. So to do the starfish, I'm going to go back in my book, and I'm going to find the page that has the starfish. It's kind of the back, okay? And I'm going to look at what my fact was. My fact was its stomach comes out of the starfish's mouth and begins to digest food. And that's what I'm going to write on my card. I'm going to write it a little bit different. I'm going to write its stomach comes out and eats the food, okay? I'm going to write that. Its stomach comes out and eats food. Awesome job. Then once I get my fact done, I'm going to cut out my fact. And then I'm going to get my glue stick. I'm going to put some glue on the back of my picture and put my cool fact on the back. Then I have a starfish on the front. and a fact about a starfish on the back that I can share and give to other people. So what you can do is you can do, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can do 5 other facts using these cards, and then share those facts with your family and your friends. Maybe show somebody over FaceTime if you're on FaceTime with somebody. But hopefully you learned lots of new things about magical sea creatures. See you soon.